Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Streamline, Grow, and Get Paid Faster. I'm your hostess, Nikki Acosta. We're really glad that you took the time to join us today, and we're really excited to give you a rundown of what Skimmer is, what it does, who it's for, and give you a sneak peek into a really exciting feature that's launching next week. I'm your hostess, Nikki Acosta. I am joined today by Sarah Raff Duty, account executive, and Erica Steinbrück, who manages our account manager team. Both of these ladies have been at Skimmer for a while, and really thankful to both of you for taking the time to do this webinar. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to cover a little bit about Skimmer, and then we're going to get into an overview, a demo, and a sneak peek for our feature that we're about to launch next week. We'll get a little bit into billing and payments. We'll talk about our mobile experience. We'll share some resources that all of you are welcome to take advantage of that are free and available to all Pole Pros, even if you're not a customer of ours. And then we will get into a Q&A. A couple housekeeping items. If you hover over your window in Slack, I'm sorry, in Zoom, at the bottom, there's a little Q&A box. And if you'd like to ask us a question during the presentation, feel free to type it in there. We'll be able to see those and we will be able to get to those. If we don't get to all of them during the presentation, we will follow up with you individually. Another question we get quite often is this going to be recorded? Yes, it's being recorded, and we will make this available to everyone who registered for the webinar. So if you have to bounce early or you have to go, that's totally okay. We will send this recording to you after the fact. All right, so a little bit about us, our obligatory About Skimmer slide. Our mission here is to empower you to build a great business, and we do that with software, but we also do that with a lot more. We have great support, we have podcasts, we have a community, we have all kinds of really cool resources and research that we do and we share. And really behind all of that is to help you build a great business, to boost your profits, to make sure that your customers are happy and you're getting referrals, to make sure that your teams are happy, and to make sure that you can get organized and meet your goals. So what do we hear from Pool Pros? Sarah, why don't you tell them?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it away, and thank you again so much for Nikki, or to Nikki for the warm intro there. I'm fortunate enough I get to talk to a ton of people in the space that aren't yet using Skimmer, so I get to hear a lot about pain points and what we hear a lot from people not using software, but specifically not using Skimmer, right? So it's boiled down kind of these 5 points we're seeing here. Just the main ones, right? The big things that are taking up a lot of time, both on the tech side of things, on the office side of things, even down to the customer side. Those can be boiled down to limited record keeping. So are you able to pull up what your technicians did 2 months ago? What about 2 years ago or 5 years ago? And see exactly what was done, see what chemicals were added, see what products were installed out. A disorganization and just lack of accountability. I think Nikki kind of already mentioned that, but like, do we know where our technicians are at during the day? Do we know what's being done? How many stops are being skipped at any point in time? An inconsistent communication, specifically with our customers, right? Main point, and hopefully what I hope people get out of this is that Skimmer is not just for technicians. It's not just for the office or the owner. It's also for your customers. It's a full platform to help make the experience better for everyone and save you guys all some time. And then just kind of some outdated processes. So waiting on checks to come in the mail or actually physically going and picking those checks up. I hear that a lot too. Leaving door hangers on the actual door and those blowing away. I hear that very, very often. So we've created some really cool and efficient ways to just fix all of these problems that people are seeing. What are we seeing again? I mean, the pool service industry is evolving. It's a different space than it used to be. And we know how much your time is valuable and everyone across your team's time is valuable. So what we've worked on is making a platform that saves you time, gets you organized, improves that customer communication so that your customers are referring you and they want more people using your business and then ultimately getting you paid faster. Billing is a huge, huge area where we saw people were spending so much time. So we've developed a really fantastic solution for that that works across all different payment models. However your business is doing things, we've really developed a platform that can work for you. Erica's on the call a little bit, so she's going to go through that later on, but I'm also going to demo it with you guys here too in a second. So talking about Skimmer, again, I've already kind of referenced this, but we are here for all areas of the business. We're going to primarily focus today on today's demo, more so on the office side, so more so on the desktop, laptop, iPad, however you want to access it. But we also have a mobile app, and Nikki is going to touch on that a little bit here too. But we're going to spend the bulk of our time going through things like routing, customer info, customer data, billing, talking to your customers, all of that kind of stuff today. I'm going to go ahead actually and share my screen here in our demo. So give me just one quick second. Awesome. If I can just get a quick okay that you guys are able to see this, Nikki or Erica. Awesome. Perfect. So I'm going to kind of walk right down. I'm going to try to talk not too fast, but make sure that this is super efficient and we get through as much as we can today. So I'm starting over on our customers page. Good things to note here is we want to make sure that your technicians have got access to anything that's going to be helpful to them and they're not having to bog down a lot of office admin time reaching out to you guys about things like gate codes or how do I access this property? What piece of equipment do they have? All the way down to what is their dog's name? We are geared towards pools. I'll be saying that a lot as we go through here, but that's very important, I think, to note because everything's been built with your business already in mind. So I'm going to start up here at the top. I'm under a customer here, Bruce. You'll see this tags feature. I personally love this one, and love calling this one out. These are completely custom tags. So you'll see here I have some like auto pay, commercial account, seasonal customer. What this does is it allows me to kind of compile my customer base in a way that makes sense for my business. So that way, if let's say our season is coming up and we start in April, I can go ahead and email all of my seasonal customers at once and say, hey, let's get you back on the schedule. We're coming up on that time of year. Let us know if you want to just keep your route the same as last year, or let's get you on a new one. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. Already referenced this, but you'll see a spot to save gate codes, pet names, minutes at stop. That's a huge one too, to just help again with that efficiency component. If it takes us a lot longer to do a specific stop or a specific location, we want to make sure that you know that and your technicians know that, right? So that we can plan our day better. So we're not going to way too many stops or we're overloading our technicians and they're having to skip stops. We're going to go down a little bit here. Route assignments, I'm going to get a bit more into when we go through the actual route builder and route dashboard. So just hold tight on that one for a second. But I want to go through a couple more things that we can save here on the customer profile. I'm over on the photos tab right there. I always like to describe these as like profile photos, right? So these are going to be those photos that are just going to appear on this customer's profile anytime you're servicing their location. A lot of people love to put like an intro photo of maybe what the pool looked like when you first started servicing them, or pieces of equipment. If we scroll down here a little bit, where this can come in handy is like, if Bruce calls into the office and says, hey, my pump is making a weird noise or my heater's not working. I don't have to necessarily send someone out there just to find out what that piece of equipment is. I have it right here already for me. We even take it a step further. If I go into this body of water, and I'm hoping you guys can see this, just let me know if anything's not popping up for you. We have a very extensive database of equipment already built into the Skimmer platform. Again, I'm a broken record, but we're built for pools and pool businesses. So you can see here, like I can pull up just a specific heater. I can go into a make, a model. And what this does is, again, allows me to save notes on this specific piece of equipment so that if 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road, my customer calls in and says, hey, my heater is acting up again, what's going on here? I have the warranty info right there. I'm not having to go pull up a receipt or find it in my email from years and years ago, right there for me at my fingertips. And this can be done, by the way, as you'll see up the top, I've got profile, photos, pool, spa. So what this means is I can have various different bodies of water living under my one profile. Super, super helpful if you have any customers that have, say, a pool and a hot tub or multiple pools. Maybe they're super lucky and they have 3 pools at their property, or a water feature. Just because, as you know, you handle that hot tub very differently, I'm sure, than you handle that pool. So we want to make sure that those are treated as separate entities so that you can save that data, you can save those readings, those dosages that are more specific to the exact body of water. And let's scroll down a little bit because I want to touch on the service checklist as well, because that's also going to be a big piece of that. You'll see here, this is going to be what our service checklist looks like on this particular, customer. But let's actually go over to kind of our more generic checklist. I'm going to go over to settings, and you'll see over here, I have a list of just kind of all the checklist items that I like to make sure my technicians are doing at any service visit. These can be completely customized by you, by the way. You can also move around the order, and we see if we click into edit, I can make these required in order to finish this stop. I can also make it required to have a photo. Super, super helpful when we're talking about maybe, my technicians across the board, we keep getting complaints, hey, you guys are not, vacuuming, or you're not emptying those skimmer baskets when you leave. Well, now I can make it required for them to attach a photo, which builds in a little bit more of that accountability we were talking about. Because now my homeowners are going to know, here's a photo, it was done. Also helps my technicians because now they know, oop, there's a little bit more accountability. I got to make sure that I'm staying on top of this. Now, this is again going to be generic. So this is going to show up on all of my customers when they go to service these locations. But what about if Bruce, for example, has dogs? Maybe he leaves them out every time we're there, and they'll get out if we don't lock that gate. Well, I can make a specific checklist item just for Bruce that tells us to lock that gate. And again, I can make it required to have a photo attached for that. Full circle again, I'm going to keep going through it, but building that accountability with the tech, happy customers, because they're not having to call you and say, hey, my dog's got out again. They already know that that was done right after your visit.
And one note on those photos too, if I may mention, Sarah, the cool thing about our photo capabilities is that you can't upload a photo from your photo roll. You have to take them while you're there live. And it still works even if you're in an area with no cell phone coverage. But that also prevents people from being able to circumvent the requirement and actually prove that they were doing what they said they were supposed to do.
Absolutely. Excellent point. And that's something too you can let your customers know as well. And they usually really love that. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit here, but you'll see this items needed bucket. This is fantastic for just kind of accomplishing two pain points that we're seeing a lot of times, or I'm hearing from a lot of people. One of those being my technicians are sometimes leaving products or leaving parts at pools. We're not being told about it, and then we're not in turn charging out for it. I hear that a ton. They'll say, I left a pretty expensive part at this house, wasn't notified of it, sent out my invoice, and now it's not on that invoice. Second thing is also going to be if you get to a property and then you remember, oh shoot, I needed a valve, or I needed a skimmer basket, forgot it. Now I'm gonna have to go back to the store, back to the office and grab that. So what this allows you to do is I can add on right from here a product, a part, a chemical for this customer. So let's say Bruce calls in and says, hey, my skimmer basket is, super nasty. Let's get us a new one. I can add that in here, and this is uploaded into my backend settings, so it has my price associated with it. I can always edit it from here, but assuming that looks good, I'll just go ahead and save it. So now what this will look like on the mobile side of Skimmer is that if I'm a technician, I'm Sarah, and I'm logging in for the day and I'm going to be servicing Bruce, I'll get a pop-up right on my app that says, hey, don't forget you need that skimmer basket. That way, before I even go out for my day, I'm remembering and I'm swiping to show, okay, I got it on my truck, I'm ready to go. Once I'm there, all I do is literally just swipe again to say I installed it out, and then that comes full circle right back onto your invoice. Super easy to just kind of keep that full circle going so that nothing is getting forgotten and nothing's getting charged out when it needs to be. Perfect. I'm going to keep moving on down here. We're going to go actually over to the route builder. I'm going to show you guys real quick, kind of an easy, efficient way to just add on your routes, make sure that people are on the correct frequency, and also use this to your benefit if you're a seasonal business or in an area that's pretty seasonal. So all I need to do is choose my technician, and my day of the week. So let's go ahead and choose Kaylee for Wednesday. You'll see here it's going to pop up with a map view so I can see all of my different route stops and where I'm going to be at for the day. But let's say Ross calls in and says, hey, I'd like to get started on a weekly basis starting this week with no end date. Now, again, where this can help if you're seasonal is, let's say we start our season in April, we end it in October. I can go ahead and set those dates so it'll only populate during those dates. But if I have no stop date, maybe I'm a lucky one that lives in a super sunny area year round, I can just go ahead and add that on. So now that's added onto my route. We can take it even a step further to make sure that this is the most efficient possible. And that is going to be through our optimize route button. So if I click on that, you'll see it's basically giving me the option to just reorder, rearrange my route in the most efficient way possible and saving me the most time that I can, because we know driving time equals wasted money. Now, where we take it even a step further from that is going to be our company addresses. So these are addresses that you can have built into the Skimmer platform, whether it's a home address, local distributor, supply store, office. And you can actually build your routes around those addresses. So if, for example, your technicians start their day, end their day at the office, I can have my routes built around those, kind of like a circle. So it'll say I start up here and I end up here. And again, just going to save me all this time, not have my technicians driving here, there, and everywhere. Because we know that's a huge, huge area where we see a lot of wasted time in the industry. Now, on a day-to-day view, I'm going to go over to our route dashboard. Now, you'll see here I can see all my technicians for the day, Arturo, Chuck, Kaylee, Malcolm, Mario, and I can follow along in real time, see where they're at, see what's being done, see which chemicals are being used, and also see that time of when they got there and when they left. Let's click into Kaylee here. So I can see that she was at Katie Kennedy's property up here for 14 minutes. It's always going to be in brackets on the outside. If I click in there, I can see she got there at 9:48 a.m. and left at 10:02 a.m. That is being tracked again through the mobile side of Skimmer. So your technicians don't need to do anything. They don't need to remember to do anything. They just go through their day like normal, and you're being notified as they're going through their day. Now, again, I can see readings, I can see dosages, I can see photos that were taken. So again, if I ever had a customer call in and say, hey, I know you guys were here, but did you add this or did you do that? Again, shouldn't be happening because they're getting a service report email in real time, but you have that data and you have that info right here at your fingertips. Very easy also, by the way, to move people around right from here. So if you had someone call in sick, I can just click this move customers. Let's say Chuck is actually out for the day. I can just move his customers over to Arturo just for today. It will go right back to normal next week, but at least for today, it's going to pop over to him. Now let's go into Arturo. Actually, you'll see up at the top here, there's a repair job. So a lot of what we've taken a look at so far is obviously a little bit more geared towards that weekly service, that regular reoccurring cleanings that you're probably doing for customers. But we know there's a whole other side of the business, right? And that's going to be what we deem or we call work orders. I'm going to go over here to our backend settings. So these are jobs that are set up by you ahead of time of all the work that your company or your business is doing. Excuse me. So things like filter swaps, repairs, pool opens, pool cleans, or excuse me, pool closes, salt cell cleanings, anything that you guys are doing for your customers or that you offer as a service. As a side note, we see these as a huge area to increase your profits too. So definitely something to take a look at if you're not currently doing these kind of jobs or this sort of work. Huge area to just increase your overall profitability. So I'm taking a look here at a filter swap just because I want to show you some of the customizations that you can make for any given job you have in the Skimmer system. Over on the right-hand side, we'll see this checklist. So this is again going to be custom checklist items that are just for this type of job. Allows you to get really specific with what you want to make sure your technicians are doing at any given job. Same thing goes though as before, like Nikki mentioned, these have to be taken in real time right through the app. And you can also require that photo or require this checklist item to be completed in order to finish that stop as well. Now, the items needed is a great spot to just keep organized. What products do we usually need for this work? You can kind of make this a little shopping list just for these jobs so that your technicians, if they're adding on a filter clean or if your office staff is adding that on, these will automatically populate for your technicians to remember. Now over on this left-hand side, you'll see some specifications. I won't go through every single one, I promise, but just know you have the ability to create some alerts with these. You have the ability to allow technicians to add these. So there's a lot of ways to just customize these jobs. And then finally, you'll see here this reoccurring button. Another one of my personal favorites, because I just heard this so many times from people that jobs were kind of falling through the cracks, or we wouldn't remember that we did a filter clean for someone, or that we did a pool open for them. So this allows you to set these jobs on a reoccurring, or excuse me, set them to remind you actually, on a reoccurring basis of how often do we do these. So for example, if I do my filter cleans every 3 months, I want to be reminded of that again. If I go over here to work orders and over to upcoming, you'll see here it's going to give me a list of just all my work that I need to kind of book out again. And I can do this all the way up to the next 12 weeks. So again, great place if you're in an area that does pool opens to just get a list of all the ones you did last season. And then you can go ahead and schedule those out from here. Now, I'm going to get over to the schedule view because I know that's a super exciting feature that a lot of people have been asking about. I actually just got it enabled on my account, so I've been playing around with it a little bit. But this has been a complete game changer. This is going to really, I think, revolutionize the way that people are able to schedule through Skimmer. Specifically scheduling those work orders, changing around your days. They've really worked hard to make sure that this is kind of accomplishing a goal that we were hearing from people of how they wanted to be able to schedule. So you'll see at the top right there, it says scheduled, unscheduled, and map view. So I can toggle between these just to accomplish if I'm preferring to look at all my unscheduled work, all my scheduled work. And again, that map view is awesome just to kind of see what I'm looking at. Now from there, you'll see at the bottom left-hand side, I've got all my upcoming work or my new work orders or my customers that are not yet on a route. From here, this is again giving me a good view so I can see where those are at. I can see if, oh, looks like Eagleton Apartments is right over by Andre's schedule on, Friday. And from there, I can go ahead and just drag and drop this right onto the day that I want it. Huge feature. I know a lot of people were asking for the drag and drop feature, so we're very, very excited to have that. And then I can filter, excuse me, between a couple different things to kind of get that little pool a little smaller if I need it. So for example, if maybe Andre and Arturo are my two repair techs, I can go ahead and just check on them. So that way I'm getting an even more, discrete or a more specific group of who I want to assign these out to. It's not showing me everything. It's just going to show me my actual repair technicians. And same thing goes for type of work. So if you do a ton of pool opens, I think this would be a great, great, great feature for you to just see all your pool opens on the schedule. You can move them around, drag and drop them, and make sure that it makes sense in your map view too. Nikki, I know this was a big one for you too. You've talked to countless people probably about this feature. Anything you want to kind of add in there?
Yeah, I think it's not going to replace what she just showed you in terms of the route builder. It's actually just a different way to view it. And so if you look at like Andre on Monday, it says 0 of 3. That's actually his progress for the day. So now you can see the progress throughout the day, see where rearrange that individual's routes there on the right and optimize them. Like if you know that, the miscellaneous repair for Claire needs to be the first stop of the day, you can just drag and drop it over and move it and click save as optimized or save as default route. So this is a really, really great visual way to do what we've already been doing, where it combines not only the stuff that's already on the schedule, but the stuff that hasn't been scheduled yet. And this will be out next week on our scaling up and owning the market tiers.
And if I can add one other thing too, this is the first iteration of this, so it's going to keep improving. It's going to keep getting even cooler. So we want to hear feedback too, especially if you're currently on Skimmer or you're going to sign up right after this demo. We want to hear what you want and kind of what feedback you have from it. So keep
I
those.
can tell you that a weekly and monthly view are already on the docket for future development. So that's
Very
coming.
exciting. Yeah.
That's a fast follow.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. So I'm getting close to the end, I promise. I know I've been talking for a while here, but I wanted to go through a couple more just ways to communicate with your customers through Skimmer, and then we'll close it out with billing here in just a second. So I'm going to start with our broadcast emails function. This is just going to be a large way for you to kind of correspond and talk with all your customers at once, customers under a specific tag, customers serviced on a certain day or with a certain technician. So a couple of examples of where our customer base finds a lot of use out of this is going to be for marketing purposes. I mean, if you want to email all your customers and say, hey, if you can get us a referral, we'll get you $10 off, $20 off. If you want to use it for scheduling purposes or just keeping up with what's going on, we know in this industry, weather is a huge component, right? So if you want to let everyone know on your schedule tomorrow, hey, terrible weather, we're not going to be coming out, we'll see you next week. Again, just to make sure that your customers are in the loop on what's going on and you're not fielding a bunch of calls after the fact saying, hey, what's going on there? I just talked to someone that said he loves to use this to let people know if bad weather's coming. Your pool may look green. Don't panic. It's okay. We'll help you when we get back. Because he was getting so many calls of people freaking out over that. So just getting ahead of stuff. And then you can also obviously use it with that tag feature again. So those are your tags, your custom tags that are applicable to your customer base. And you can really use this however you need to make sure that you're keeping in the loop with those customers. Now, we kind of already touched a little bit on service report emails, but those are, again, those super handy emails that are getting sent out right after your visit with photos, chemical readings, if you choose to include checklist items, all of that kind of stuff. And that's going over right via email. We also, though, have this newer feature, our portal, which I'm hoping you guys can see here. But this is another spot for your customers to log in, see past service history, pay their bill, update their payment method, see those past payments. Just like any other portal, if you use it for any kind of, electricity or different, bills that you've got, just a great way where they have access to things and they can just log in here and see that. We also have our texting feature, which I won't go super in depth here since that is more on the mobile side, but that's just letting your customers know, hey, we're on our way, we finished your stop, or we had to skip your stop for whatever reason. Perfect. I know that was a lot. I'm going to go through billing real quick here, but then I'm going to pass it over to Erica, who is expert in all things billing, and she's going to really touch on how it can really benefit your business specifically. And apologies, my internet connection, this is all on me. So I've got too many tabs going on here. Perfect. So I'm under our invoice generator under billing. You'll see here, I basically just choose my bill from and my bill to date. And this can be any date range you need it to be. So whether we're doing monthly billing, maybe I want to bill out for the day, bill for the week. I'm going to do the whole month because I want to pull in all the work that's been done so far for this month. A lot of customizations here. We won't go through every single piece. I really want to show you kind of what's going to pull in here. So you'll see here on the top, there's all these different toggles. I'm under the pool service one first. So you'll see these are all the customers that I did service for within this month. Now, if I click in, let's just click to Kelsey Kimber. You'll see here, I have her on a per stop with chems model. So that's another point we didn't get super in-depth with, but just know you can have all your customers set to their specific pricing model, whether it's all your customers are the same or you have them on different models. And we are, again, built for pools. So we've got per month, per stop, with chems, plus chems, maybe you include certain chemicals, maybe you charge out for the more expensive ones. We can absolutely get that set up for you on your account. But looking at Kelsey here, I can see I did pool service for her on the 3rd. Here are all the chemicals that we installed out for her. Don't pay too much attention to my values. A lot of them make no sense. I'm clearly not out at pools all day. But great kind of indicator in all the work that's being done, and I can make tweaks and edits from here. But you'll see it's saving me a ton of time because it's already pulling in all the work that's being done. I don't have to do anything here. I'm just making sure it looks good. I installed out a product for her, a skimmer basket on the 3rd as well, already pulled in with the price that I charge for that. Now, if we go to our next screen here, I'm going to go over to work orders. Same thing goes for those work orders, right? These are pulling in all the repair work, all the filter swaps, all the pool opens that I did. and any products I installed out from there, as well as the price I have it set to. So it's not a generic price, it's something that I deemed in my system. This is how much we charge for repair. Now, when I go to the next screen, I've got my additional items, line items, fees, discounts. So this allows me to apply in bulk any of these three topics up here at the top. Let's say, for example, maybe I do a cleaning every quarter to all my customers, an additional kind of a heavy duty cleaning. I can get that added on to all my customers. Or maybe I add out a fee or apply out a fee, can get that added on, both on a flat rate or a percentage based. And now you'll see these are all going to populate right here. I can just make sure they look good, send them out right from this screen. Let's find that Kelsey actually that we were just taking a look at. So we can see what her bill would look like. So Kelsey's going to get this via email plus the portal now. And you'll see she'll see her pool service, the date I was there, all the chemicals that I used at her property, and then a product or any kind of additional items that I installed out. Once she gets that, I think one of the coolest things too is that we can get all of your customers set up on autopay. You can also enroll your customers in autopay as well under their profile, under payment methods. Again, just making sure that you're not spending a bunch of time hunting people down for payment, tracking people down for checks when it's work that you're doing. We want to make sure you're getting paid as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So I'm going to actually pass it back over here to Erica. I'm going to get my screen ready again, just so she can go through a couple more specifics with billing, as she's someone that talks to people about this all day long.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I want to touch on some really key points that will make Skimmer's billing and payments tools extremely valuable and beneficial to your business. So first and foremost, I want to emphasize our secure processing and integration with QuickBooks Online. It's very likely that many of you are already using QuickBooks Online as a key piece to running your business. Very common, glad you're doing it. It's a very necessary tool. And what we've done is that we've married Skimmer with QuickBooks Online. And the reason for that is QBO is an accounting system that manages the true financial health of your business, while Skimmer is your operating system that you're using day to day to run your business. And so what we've done is we've taken all of the work that you do in the field, like Sarah just showed you, and given you the power to turn that into invoices that can be paid, and then automate that information over to QuickBooks Online automatically for you. This is a huge time saver. It eliminates your need to manage two systems. It minimizes risk because you're not having to cross-reference your operating system with your accounting system. And so it has saved our pros a tremendous amount of time, and really allowing for the front office to do what they do best, and while still passing on the crucial information in regards to invoicing and payments to the back office. Second, Skimmer is 1000% designed to fit common billing models. I can't emphasize this enough. We know that you are likely charging your customers per month with chemicals, or per month plus chemicals, per stop with or without chemicals. We understand that those are very unique billing models specific to the pool industry. And so Sarah touched on this during her billing portion of her demo, that you can designate each customer with regard to how you charge them. So doesn't have to be one size fits all. You can make Nikki unique and different from Erica, and even different from Sarah. And the beauty of this is it allows you to really maximize your profits. Because if you know that you really should be charging chemicals to certain customers, just due to how the care that their body of water is needing, now you can do that without it causing extra stress or tracking for you. You just designate them as a customer that you charge for chemicals. Those chemicals will be itemized on invoices for those customers and included and eligible for auto pay. This is a huge one. We know that other systems can auto pay an invoice. It's typically just for a flat rate amount. But now you have the power to charge for additional items and include those in auto pay, which means you're getting money in your pocket faster. The next point here is that the processing rates that Skimmer offers are extremely competitive. We've looked high and low. I've seen literally hundreds, probably thousands of statements at this point in working with customers. I often hear pros say, my rates are great, or I know I have better rates, and there's always more to uncover. And so I can say with full confidence that the processing rates that Skimmer offers are extremely competitive in the industry. And even more so, we offer next day payouts. So it's even less time that you have to wait for your money to hit your account at no extra charge. And lastly, what Sarah showed you is our customer portal is amazing. I mean, it's truly transformative. Look at your competitors out in your area. Are they offering something like this? It's likely that they're not, which really sets you apart. But also it helps minimize the time that your office is having to spend managing your customer relationships, because you are giving your customers one centralized place to be transparent about the work you're doing and what you're charging and how they can pay. Customers love having the control. And so now with our customer portal, you can even ask your customers for their payment method ahead of billing day so that you have the confidence of knowing that you're going to get paid when those invoices go out on billing day. So would love to talk to you all about this. As you can tell, I'm very passionate. If you're an existing customer that wants to know more about billing, just definitely reach out to us and I'll get you scheduled with a member of my team so we can get you on to a happy place with billing.
We have a quick question, Erica. A couple of folks are asking if we integrate with QuickBooks Desktop or any other accounting system. Is that something that you can answer for our folks in Q&A?
Of course, yes. Currently, Skimmer only integrates with QuickBooks Online. We have found that that is the most common tool that pros are using. In fact, many of QuickBooks efforts are to move the entirety of their customer base to the online platform. So to stay in line with the trends of the industry, we are integrated with QuickBooks Online only.
And another question, do you have to use our credit card processor? Do you want to share a little bit about our credit card processor?
Yes, Stripe is the is the merchant processor that Skimmer is integrated with. So when you send your invoices via Skimmer, it is Stripe in the background that is actually processing that transaction. That is the only processor that is natively integrated. And so if you choose to use another system, it would be entirely outside of Skimmer, which means you were likely double entering or creating your invoices separately, which of course is not the goal here. The goal is to centralize all of your business operation into one place. If there's any concern about rates or functionality, give us the opportunity to talk you through that. We're happy to do so.
All right, thank you for that, Erica. Real quick, we have some time, so I just wanted to get a little bit into our mobile app. And one thing I can say that I hear about a lot when I go to conferences and talk to folks who've tried other platforms is they really, really, really love our mobile app. We have apps for Android and iOS. And from a technician perspective, it is super, super easy for your technicians to know exactly what needs to be done that day. So as a tech, I open my app, I know exactly where I'm supposed to go. I know I have all the information that I need to get in the yard. I have all the repair history in my hand. But we also give admins a lot of functionality too. So if you are out in the field and you're the company owner and someone calls in sick, you can actually open your app and with a couple of clicks, you can move the rest of that unfinished route to a different person or a different day. So there's a lot of functionality in our app for admins that you might not find with other platforms. We also have a built-in Orenda LSI calculator That has been a really, really great feature. I can say with confidence now that we are planning to launch a Lamont Spin Touch integration in Q2. And so we're working hard on that to make that really easy to use too. So if you're out using a Spin Touch, you put the disc in, you hit run the test, the results come up, bam, by Bluetooth, they automatically get sent to your phone and can be factored into the LSI calculator to calculate not only your LSI, but also give you dosage recommendations. This is a really foolproof way too, the Renda LSI calculator for maybe some of your newer techs that may not be sure on how to balance the chemistry appropriately, because we do give those dosage recommendations and tell you exactly when it needs to go into the pool to get it balanced. There's also some extra features in here. Optimize route. That is a feature that allows you, again, like you saw on the web, to make sure you can get to A to Z the fastest way. There are some really cool features on that where you can either lock a route for a tech or not lock a route for a tech and allow them to optimize throughout the day based on traffic patterns using either Google Maps or Apple Maps. So some really cool functionality there. You also can, if you're in the field, you can leave a note to alert the office with a private note. So if you get on site and a pump's making a funny noise, instead of having to leave the Skimmer app and pull open another application right there in the app, you can say, hey, pump's making a funny noise, and that will automatically go to your office so that they can schedule whatever needs to schedule or do whatever needs to happen. I mentioned this before, but our app also works in areas where there's no cell coverage. So if for some reason you are in an area and the cell coverage is poor, you can operate just as you normally would. Everything's going to work. And as soon as you have cellular or Wi-Fi, it will go ahead and push all of the data that you collected while you were out of range. There's a lot of functionality here. I'm always really happy to show this to people at trade shows because their eyes light up when they realize just how easy it is for techs and for as company owners to be able to manage what's in the field from the palm of their hand, looking at history, assigning work orders, making sure those repairs are done. We also, if you are a Skimmer customer, you can also extend app functionality to people that may be contractors for you. So if you have people who are route techs that only do work for you occasionally, there's no extra charge to be able to add them as a user on Skimmer and be able to assign them work as well. Questions about that? Let's see. We have any questions here? We'll go into pricing here in a second. We've got a couple questions around pricing. Do you have to have QB online and Skimmer separately for billing? No. So Skimmer becomes where you do the work, and then QBO is where you sync the work to. So when you have processed the transaction, you can have that transaction synced over to QBO so that you can rely on whatever reporting you've built there or other things that QBO does as accounting software that we may not necessarily do. All right, next slide. I mentioned this earlier, but we do a lot. Part of our value as a provider is to give you more than just software. And one of the ways that we do that is through our amazing support. It is incredibly rare, as you all might know, to be able to call a software company and get a real life human being on the phone. And we have an entire staff that offers live phone support so that you can get a hold of somebody while you're in your truck on the road if you need help. Not only do we provide support to the owners of the company and the back office team, but we also can help your techs while they're in the field too. So if your tech, forgets a password or they need extra help with something, they are also welcome to call us and we will be happy to support them as well. We provide onboarding assistance. We have people on staff who can help you upload your customers and your products into Skimmer. And we have resources to help you grow, to offer strategic guidance and do quarterly business reviews and get you on a path to being able to implement our system and implement our billing solution. So we really want to make sure that your experience from the time that you come to us versus the length of why you're here, and especially get you trained up on the new features that we're constantly adding, we've got your backs. The other way that we do this is through our content. So we host at least a webinar every month, sometimes 2 webinars, but we create these really great tools that are available for free on our website. We have a price increase toolkit that has email templates and a calculator to allow you to model what a price increase might look like, knowing that some of your customers may end up churning out. We have the email templates that have tried and true methods of how to communicate that price increase to your customers. Every year we do a state of pulse service report. We just launched our 2025 report where we've surveyed thousands of people and took all of that data and collected it and made it available to the industry for free, along with tips and resources that can help you grow your business. We have marketing guides. We've got all kinds of templates, whether you need a service agreement or you need an employee agreement, or you're trying to figure out, a career path for your technicians with levels and associated tasks. So check out getskimmer.com/resources. All the stuff that you're going to find on that page is absolutely free. We also have our pull deck community, and this is also for anyone who's servicing and doing pull repair, whether or not you are a Skimmer customer. So here you can attend workshops. We've got tons of experts in there. We've got people who are experts in QBO. We've got marketing experts. We have a guy who's popped in about concrete cancer, ASR, which is kind of probably more a regional thing that's been happening. But if you need advice, if you have questions about Skimmer, if you want to learn, tips and tricks for using Skimmer effectively, if you want to buy or sell a route, the Pull Deck is a really great resource, again, open to anyone, whether you are a Skimmer customer or not. We know, based on our extensive research, that what you're going to pay in Skimmer is less than 1% of what you're going to collect from a customer on a monthly basis. And when you factor in that the average pro will save 20 hours a month just on billing, overhead, and payments collections, or you're going to grow 3 to 4 times faster than people who aren't using modern software, or that you're going to save in chemical costs because we give you reporting that shows you if you can look by tech or by address what chemical consumption looks like. We show you profit reports. We help you make better decisions that are data backed and data driven. We know that Skimmer pays for it itself. And we know that there are other providers out there who may come in at a lower cost, but part of what we decided to do and the business decision that we made is that we want to offer a whole platform. And if that's something that you value, we would love the opportunity to be able to serve you. Next slide. So Q&A, we're going to get into it. We do have some questions coming in. Again, if you want to ask a question, you are free to do so using the Q&A feature on Zoom. You may have to hover at the bottom of your screen to be able to have that appear for you. We can talk about pricing really quickly. Sarah, do you want to give folks a rundown of pricing? We do have pricing tiers, but Sarah is probably the right resource to answer that question.
Yes, absolutely. And sorry, I'm getting too excited and skipping around over here. Like Nikki mentioned, yeah, so we have different tiers. I think I saw the question that came in was about a seasonal business as well. So someone
Correct.
that's maybe doing more in the summer months, much less in the winter. And I'm happy to report, so we also offer kind of customized proposals, customized agreements for your business. So that's something I'm more than happy to kind of work with people on an individual basis. What I've done in the past, just to give you some insight, is we kind of find an average of what you're doing and find a good way to price that out so that it's just going to be a set amount each month. And you're not, like you said, paying a ton in the summer and then it's dropping down in the winter. We do have a minimum of 49 locations. That also I know was one of the questions in there. So we have a monthly minimum of 49 locations. However, again,
$9, which includes 49 locations.
correct. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes. But also, again, if you're interested at all, I work with people day in and day out, just going through their specific business needs. Like Nikki mentioned, our current pricing structure, I think, is less than like a tab of chlorine per person is a good way to look at it. So it's very, 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 mindful of your business. But again, we offer different types of pricing structures, whether that's a fixed rate, whether that's going to be one of those tiers you see on our website. So long-winded answer, but feel free to book a meeting with me and I can go over your specific business needs to get you really accurate pricing on what you'd be looking at.
Yeah, and I'll add to that if you are just looking for a way to organize your routes and, collect what your techs are doing and send those service emails, the getting started tier will probably work for you. Some of the features that we showed you today, the LSI calculator, the schedule, the route optimization, the ability to send quotes, that is going to be something that is offered in our higher tiers only. Other questions coming in? I think we got them all.
And if I can just take this second too, Nikki, while we're waiting for anything else kind of to come in. Already called attention to this, but I know this was a very, very jam-packed hour demo where we really tried to get you guys as much feedback and as much info into the software as we could. But again, I just want to make sure to reiterate I think that actually takes you right to my demo link. But I offer one-on-one demos too. So we can really get into the nitty-gritty of any follow-up questions you had. We can go more in depth just on the mobile side of Skimmer, because I know we didn't get too in depth there. We can go over pricing, we can go over your specific business needs. So seriously, do not hesitate to reach out. I will work around kind of your schedule, and I'm more than happy to work with anybody on this call.
Yeah, someone just asked about quotes. We didn't go over quotes or reporting, but feel free to use that QR code there and book some time with Sarah, and she will be happy to dive into any of those areas. We have a ton of reports that go from, all kinds of billing reports. We've got, profitability reports. We've got reports that you can look at, how a specific tech is dosing, or how a specific address, how much they're consuming in terms of chemicals. So a lot of really good intelligence that goes there. I would say the best advice I could give someone, if you're going to join Skimmer, is take the time to set it up right. Like, bring in your products, your commonly used ones, set up your chemicals, try to the best of your knowledge to put what you're paying for those chemicals versus what you're charging for those chemicals. Because if you take the time to do that upfront, your reporting will be much more accurate. All right, I think that's it for today. Again, thank you all for taking the time to join us. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Erica, for taking the time to do this webinar. I know you both are super busy. And if anyone has any questions, you can call us, you can email us, you can come to our website. All of our contact information is there, or you can screenshot this and give us a call. But we are here to serve and to help you build a better business. And that's it. Say bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.